like every year they would have like class turkey. Like every Thanksgiving they would have like class turkey. Did you ever get that? Did you do that? You didn't?
Oh, we have class turkey?
Yeah, girl. Like for the funny, if you were a funny person, you were voted by your class and you were the class turkey and you wore a turkey hat all day.
No, I'd be pissed if somebody got class turkey and I didn't, though.
I loved it. I got class turkey.
You got it?
Yeah, it was either me or Kyle Baca who always got it. Yeah. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Not Cool with Sarah Hyland. My guest today, one, it's taken me a long time to get her here.
It's my fault.
No, it's not. My fault. It's, you know what? It's life. It's totally fine. And
no, it's my fault.
Flowing with water like it. It's okay. I know. She is from my hometown of Louisville, Kentucky. Yeah. She was on Jimmy Fallon. Yeah. You were just...
Ever heard of him?
Small guy. Hope he makes it.
Yeah.
Bless his heart, he's non-union, so he's continuing to work. And was just on Bert Kreischer's podcast. You're touring. Am I missing anything? My guest today is Miss Katherine Blanford, everybody.
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. And by the way, I came to know Katherine because very typical Louisville, Kentucky. My cousin Kelsey Hyland. Remember Kels Bells?
No, I don't remember Kelsey because, I would remember every time I was in contact with her. Yeah. Within 30 minutes, I was blackout.
From drinking? Mm-hmm. That tracks.
Yes.
So Kelsey, and by the way, if you're not watching, or if you are watching, why I'm wearing a pink, very hot pink Barbie Kentucky State Fair hat and a Kentucky shirt is an ode of our heritage, so that's why this ensemble is happening with a little bit of camo. And so Kelsey messaged me and she sent me your Jimmy Fallon stand-up.
She did?
She did.
Kelsey, thank you for repping.
She said, do you know her? And I was like, I don't. She's like, she went to Assumption. And so then I was like, damn. So Assumption High School is the all-girl Catholic high school that both of us attended. Mm-hmm. So not only are we from the same town, we also went to the same high school. Same
background, same education. Mm-hmm. Highly intellectual education.
Is it?
Nope. I remember the boys, because I had brothers, and they went to St. X. All
you
boys.
Have two brothers, right?
Yeah. And we would come home and they'd be like, how's finger painting today?
Wow.
Because
from Assumption?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, they would make fun of our high school because they said it was daycare.
What? By the way, can I just say something now? Real quick, let me give a quick background check on St. X, okay? Yes. Which was very typical Southern Midwesty, like it's private schools that are Catholic, for the most part, based.
Tons of money. It looks like a small college campus.
Yes.
Like their football fields they have like 24-hour maintenance on their football fields.
Yeah.
Like watered and their athletic facilities are top notch. Like they're like, we are living through our 15-year-old son's athletic abilities. Yeah. And also we also have a high school here where they go to class. Yeah. But the sports is the most important thing.
Well, yes. Okay. Yeah. So that's the one thing is that it's interesting to me that he said that because Assumption it was like the girl version of St. X. So I'm kind of like interesting, like because they have the same jam. So I'm wondering why, which is that he says we finger painted because I'm like, is that a lesbian thing?
Yeah.
It was all girls.
Yes, it is, especially Assumption. But I will say, I think it was this. Do you remember? I don't know if they were there when you were there. There was a freshman course mandatory and a senior course. Freshman course was something about self-esteem. Do you remember that?
I remember religious affairs. Does that count?
No. No, it was like woo-woo. It was about Freshman year, it was about something about self-esteem. It was a mandatory course you had to take, and it was about like regulating your emotions and relationships and friendships. And then senior year, you had to take, I forget what it was called too, but like you read the 7 Habits of Highly Effective Teens, and then you talked about your goals. And you would create like vision boards.
Stop.
And yeah, was that it? Was that? Did you do that?
The closest we came to that, Catherine, was in home ec class. Were you there around?
No.
Okay, great. So home ec class was the closest. This is how insane. Okay, and I failed home ec, by the way, because I couldn't thread the sewing machine.
Is home ec, is it sewing or is it like biscuit making?
Both.
We didn't have home ec. We had.
I understand. You're a different version. You're a
design.
different generation. Like, because I went to there when literally, if anybody remembers it, it was hell. By a vision board, we had to plan out our wedding. Oh, yeah, girl. This is when we had to carry around babies that weren't actual babies, that had machines in the back of the babies that would tell that you, like, are the teacher at the end of the project, because you had to carry around for like a month.
So was the point to teach you that kids are hard?
Yes.
Like, what was the point of carrying around a baby?
Because you're a woman and that's going to be your job.
But
Like,
were the boys carrying around babies?
no, they didn't have home ec either. They had wood shop. You know, it was all very, one of our assignments, I remember going to class, was we had to figure out our colors. Like, what season were we? Were we summer, spring, girl?
Wait, colors is in your tone?
Your
or
tone. We had to hold up like swatches of like pinks and like pastel greens and like.
I think you figures out yours out though.
Mine was black.
No, it wasn't.
No, it was. You don't have no idea how difficult that class. We were making scrunchies. That was our fucking final. Look at me. Do I look like I would make a scrunchie? Like, I could not. No.
But that's why they called it finger painting, is because ours was different, but I think it was like catered to very much like all girls school. Like they didn't let you forget that. You know what I mean? Like but we had graphic design class, but one of our graphic design classes was to take our face and put it on a celebrity's face and to like mold it into it till it fit, and they based it off of how well you did.
But you're still okay being you, but not really.
Yeah.
So if like you could kind of look like a celebrity, be better.
They're like, if you're gonna be Sandra Bullock, you better put enough fillers in your face to be Sandra Bullock.
Oh my God.
But I think, okay, this must have changed because mine was very. Did you all went on retreats every year?
We did.
Write letters?
We did. That has not changed. That's very much a part of the like religious aspect of it.
Yeah, but it wasn't really a religious thing. I thought it was more like did you guys cry on retreat?
We cried a lot. There was
Cried
a lot
a lot?
of crying. And then I would make fun of people crying because I have my own detachment issues.
Yeah, and I would
connect it.
I was around my friends that were like, "Don't cry, you big old baby," and I'm like, "No, I'm not crying. I'm not crying at all. I hate this. It's so stupid."
Yeah.
But we had something called feminine spirituality. Did you have that?
No, was that the
it was
retreat
so
or was
good.
that something different?
No, I think it was sophomore year or junior year. Man, I can't remember this teacher's name, but like there was rumors like she used to be a stripper. She had like shorter gray hair.
And she was a stripper?
They said she used to be. Now she's like real. She was almost a nun, but she was like, no, this was my first like glimpse into like extreme feminist. Like she went all in. She was like, the reason why you don't hear about women in the Bible and the reason the patriarchy has existed is because back in the day women did have more power because they were the ones that could have babies, and so they they would have babies with multiple men, and then their children provided the men with work on the farms and the lands. But then men realized that if they controlled the women, then they could produce as many farm hands as they needed necessary to grow their land and profit from their land. So she was like, this is how I remember it, paraphrasing.
Yep.
And she was like, that's why, like, back in the day, they started to realize, like, the less power they gave women, the more they could control, and then control how many children they had to work on their land, and this and all and this. And it was like, I don't think my parents know you're saying this, but it's rad. Like, I think it did like a full, like, flip-flop, like 180.
What, by the time that you got around to, like, the...
Yes. Like,
it hacks you!
Yeah.
I am telling you, that is not... No, we did no. None of that. The biggest discussion we had ever was in, like, yeah, like I said, religious affairs.
Yes.
And I would always have my hand raised because I never understood. Because they would talk about the Bible. I was like, yo, I have a question. They're like, yeah, Sarah, God, what? And I was like... Well, I just don't understand. If God was so great, why didn't he come down himself? Like, why did he send his son? Like, that doesn't even make sense.
Why didn't he send a daughter?
I went in. Like, I just never could I just never wrapped my head around it. I was like, if this dude's so amazing, like, let's see what show his fucking mug.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Dude, we had people, I mean, there was still, like, did you guys have mass?
Mass?
In school?
No.
Okay, yeah, we didn't either. Ours,
no, you guys went to church?
No,
okay.
No, we had church in the gym, but it was never a communion or anything.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know what happened, but it was like it was a lot more a shift in, like, we are building up women's confidence and self-esteem and their sense of worth less than it was about religion.
I think that's awesome. And for the record, let me just say this. Like, Assumption High School, if you're listening.
I loved it.
I love Assumption High School.
Yes.
I really do. Because I will tell you this. It is the first time that there were no cliques. There was no hierarchy. Yeah. There were, of course, like the hot girls, the party girls, the jocks, the nerds. Like, of course. But everybody got along. Like, there wasn't a bullying situation ever.
Yeah. I think it was like, yeah, you would have, like, the nerds, and then and you got your anime girls, and then your jocks and whatever else. But I've always been, like, I felt blessed that I got to do it because I think, like, there was some kind of... Because, like, there wasn't boys there, so it was less about who's impressing who, and it was just about, like, who you found that you enjoyed being around.
Yeah.
Instead of being, like, who's impressing. You know what I mean? Like we didn't wear makeup.
None.
I still, to this day, don't shave my legs ever. Or anything, really.
You can do it, yeah.
If I got a ketchup stain on my shirt Monday, it was the same stain on my shirt on Friday. Like, I would just pick up my clothes off the floor and wear the same clothes every day because it didn't matter what you looked like. And the people that, like that's where, like, I stood out because I was like, oh, if I'm the funniest one in the cafeteria, then I'm queen of the cafeteria for the day. Mm-hmm. It wasn't, like, about... being the hottest or whatever else. So it was like, I don't know, you just learned how to have a personality.
I agree. 1,000%. And in fact, not only did we not wear makeup, and the hot girls always wear makeup, and I can name them, but they know who they are.
It was like if you wore makeup then, it was like, who you trying to impress?
Girl, trust me. Yeah. My peeps who I hung out with had zit cream. Yes. On their face still. Brushing your teeth was optional before coming to school. Like the top bun, like the messy top bun. Like the people that, were stapling their skirts up shorter.
Why?
I don't know. Because I can think they met like their boyfriends after school in the parking lot. Yeah. So I think it was for them. But, and let me ask you this, because they had this when I was at Assumption. Which was like every year they would have like class turkey. Like every Thanksgiving they would have like class turkey. Did you ever get that? Did you do that? You didn't?
we'd have class turkey.
Yeah, girl.
Like
for the funny, if you were a funny person, you were voted by your class, and you were the class turkey, and you wore a turkey hat all day.
No, I'd be pissed if somebody got class turkey and I didn't, though.
I loved it. I got class turkey.
You got it?
Yeah, it was either me or Kabaka who always got it. Yeah. Like, we kind of, like, flip-flopped all the time. But then when you graduated, did they have, like, the whole, like, most likely to succeed, most talented?
Yes.
Funny. Did they have that?
Yes. It was yearbook, and I was on yearbook, so... Yes, I got most school spirit.
You did?
Yes, and I might have given myself a bigger write-up than even like the most likely to succeed. It doesn't matter. That was another lesson in life, that everything is rigged, and if you want something, you have to get behind the scenes and rig it yourself.
Yeah, just buy the yearbook, and then you actually do all the write-up.
Absolutely.
I got voted most talented.
You did?
Yeah, but I was upset because it doesn't matter. That's what I mean. I got upset because I wasn't the most humorous. I was like, God, fuck. Like, I knew I wasn't going to be the most likely to succeed or the most changed. Like, I knew I was like...
Do you remember who did?
Yeah.
And what are they doing now?
Most changed, she's a mom. And her son actually has autism. She's the sweetest person, and she does a lot of help in the community in Louisville, as a matter of fact. She's the sweetest I still talk to her.
I'm happy for her.
Yeah.
Glad you are, too.
I am, because she was a good fucking person. That's the thing. Like, for the most part, everybody that I know from high school, for the most part, like, they were all decent people. So it's like, if I run into them...
Yeah.
Like, again, very typical, like, a lot of my high school friends all still hang out together.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah. Mine too.
For sure.
Yeah. If they stayed.
Yeah. 100%.
And I'm actually really tight with, like, two of my friends who went away. Because I think we're, like, still close, but we get the side that didn't stay in Louisville and do the Louisville path like everybody else did. Louisville is, I think, the biggest small town in the country.
It is. Louisville, like, listen, I'm very proud of my home. Like, I love Louisville.
Yeah.
I do. I go back often. My whole family is still there. But I guess, but let me ask you this, because I know how I was growing up in Louisville, Kentucky, and how it was when I hit 18, what my, like, ambitions were. So I guess when you say people did, like, the Louisville route, what do you mean by that? And I know what you mean, but what do you mean by that? And why did you take the route that you took?
Yeah. Okay. It's like, I guess I don't know. I'm not shitting on it.
I understand.
But I am like, from an outside perspective now, I'm like, I'm just grateful I didn't take that path, because I appreciate how I'm living and experiencing things. Louisville route is just very like, high school is your bubble, and then you go to UK or UVL, and then you meet your spouse there, and then you graduate and you get a little house, and then at 23 you get married, and at 26 you have your first kid, and then you have your third or fourth kid by 32, and you've joined the country club.
Okay, she's not wrong so far.
And I'm what?
You're not wrong.
I'm not wrong. And then you guys are all kind of worrying because you don't know which parish to send your kids to, and then your kids go to that parish, and then they go to Assumption or Sacred Heart, and then the circle continues. And then it's like, but you're 32, and you still have the drama from high school. You know, not like drama, but you're like, the things that people did in high school and the cliques and stuff that happened still lingers into your young adulthood, and your worldview is like politics at the various different country clubs, and you're like, but there's also like, there's like war and drought and famine in other places, and they're like, what do you mean, downtown Louisville? And you're like, well, yeah, that, but also beyond that. And there's just this very, it's literally like it's like Pleasantville. It's very much a bubble. And in your world is not, you don't see beyond it. They're good people, but I had an older brother who's 2 years older, and he went to UK, and so by the time he was I was like a senior in high school. I was going down there every weekend already, like staying at his apartment and going out, and I was like, I gotta get out of here.
Yeah.
I already feel like I have a reputation at a college. Still in high school, and so I like found some scholarship where I could get in-state at South Carolina, and I just like dipped and then didn't go back since. I love it. It's just very limited.
So did you go to school? You went to school in South Carolina then?
Yeah, I went to college at University of South Carolina.
Is that Gamecock? Is that bad? Wrong. Roosters.
That's right.
The Gamecock?
Yeah.
Okay, I know that because I have a niece and a nephew that both go there.
From Louisville?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This is what's funny is because you're saying like you went to UK and you saw like these frat parties. You're like, I can't.
Yeah.
So you're like, I'm going to head to South Carolina, which is literally where everybody from Louisville goes that doesn't go to UK or U of A.
I think it happened. I know there was only a few people that did it when I did it, and then I think everybody figured out what I figured out.
Yeah.
There's like a couple loopholes that you can get in-state tuition if you go there.
But like, let me ask this though, okay? Because isn't it the same when you went there? Because the culture's the same. Like it's still frat and sorority.
Still frat sorority, and it's like, the Greenville. It was like Greenville was their Louisville.
Yeah.
Like all the kids from Greenville or Spartanburg, and like, but it was fun to be from the outside there and just be like, oh, all the stuff that you guys care about, I really couldn't give much of a hoot about.
Right.
Yeah.
But did you graduate from there?
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess that's the thing. Like, so what, like, because I'm always like, Katherine, how did you become a stand-up? Like, how did you get here? Like, because I know where you've been, and there's got to be something wrong in a way of like, there has to be a shift in you or like something that was always brewing in you to get out and to do something different.
Yeah.
I guess that's the thing. It's like, when did that hit?
Yeah. Well, it was probably like, okay, so I guess I was kind of always in it, right? It was like Louisville's still kind of like the fratty, whatever, and like just kind of that. And then I went to South Carolina and I was in a sorority, but I just never. Both my parents were tobacco farmers.
Like legitimate tobacco?
I just got back from Bartown from my grandma's funeral. Lived a great life, great day, beautiful day. But my dad was one of 10 kids. Like their life was dairy, beef, and tobacco. Was their family business. And my mom grew up on a tobacco farm and had brothers, and like I did not come from an elite family or whatever. We like grew up, my brothers like grew up we would hang out in creeks and whatever else, but I was like hanging out with kids who had like, family money or whatever. And my parents were like, we're not gonna get you that stuff. So I never like felt like I fit in, and I never was interested in fitting in with kind of the elitist of that, but I was just always kind of amongst it. And then I went to South Carolina, and there's like more money, like people with like old Southern money, like
it's so crazy. That's where you went.
Kids driving around in like brand new Tahoes, and I'm like, I'm grateful for what I have. I'm like in my old, 1994 Mazda, whatever. I have a freaking car. I thought I was queen of the world, but I think I was always amongst kind of like children who grew up with money, but was never had any. And like figured out a way to fit in because I had a personality, but I always felt like I was in the background, like you guys are, it's kind of dumb. I mean, it's not dumb, but I'm not buying into like a lot of the stuff that they really cared about so I think I always felt like a fish out of water in that world. And so I finally, I was in college and like did a sorority event or fraternity event, and there was like a talent show, and I dressed up like Chelsea Handler, and I did a monologue like for Chelsea Lately, and I roasted a bunch of frat guys, and like I won, so it was always in the back of my head that I stand-up comedy. I think I just tried it, and so I was in Atlanta, and
Why'd you go to Atlanta?
I was working for a venue management company. So we did PGA, and then I was down in Orlando working for the Amway, the arena for the Orlando Magic.
Okay.
And then I came up to Atlanta for a small venue, and like a little bit outside of Atlanta. And then so I was there, and I like just took a comedy class, and I was like, oh, this is. It was like the first thing I was like, oh, I like this, and I don't feel like I'm like trying to like keep up with the Joneses with this. I felt like everything else in my life was like, have to get the job, and I'm around the guys who have finance degrees, and I have to be around the girls who are in marketing until they get married, and then they have kids, and they don't have to work anymore. And I just never liked, I don't know, I never like felt like I fit in with that lifestyle. And so I found, and I was like, oh, I like this. And I felt like I was amongst people in comedy that were all of a sudden not like that.
Yeah.
Just like people from all walks of life. And I was like, oh, this is so interesting to me.
Yeah.
And I never had that, like going from like Louisville to South Carolina. And so I just like got hooked.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I bought a bunch of jumpsuits.
Jumpsuits, they're your thing.
Mm-hmm.
Did people always tell you that you were funny though? Like even in like grade school, high school,
Yeah.
did people, your family?
Yeah.
Because right, because nobody just goes to a comedy, not really, unless there's been like a pellet thrown in there that you're like, oh, okay, maybe I am funny. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I very much felt like that. I did feel like when I started, I think it was more insecurity of me, people like rolling their eyes and being like, oh, that's the like young girl who just like no one was like, we're not gonna, whatever she's, I always felt like they were gonna be like, oh, she has like dumb girl opinions or dumb girl things she's gonna talk about.
The audience? You thought the audience?
Even like comics.
Okay.
Did you ever feel like that?
Well, I got my start. I mean, I went to the Art Institute of Chicago, but from there, because somebody told me to go to Second City.
Yes.
So my start was actually one at Assumption at all the talent shows, because I always played. I mean, that's where I first started doing anything, was at Assumption High School. Because they're like, Sarah, can you play this character in our senior skit? And I was like, okay. So I'd always do that. But then I actually, before stand-up, I did Second City in Chicago. Yeah. So it was all improv. And you can still do it. You're not even 30. You can do it. Okay. So, but that was the thing, I think. And again, I read what you're talking about from Kentucky to South Carolina you hit all the Southeast. Like it's either, especially the Carolinas, it's either debutante or trash.
Yes. Right.
Not a lot in between.
Yeah.
And so, it's hard if you grow up there and you don't feel like you're watching everybody else live with the land, like at the, Land Rovers, or, they're talking about going into their dad's law firm. You're like, what the fuck?
Yes.
So
I felt like I was trash trying to fit in with debutantes all the time.
Yes. I totally understand. Even though, because we came from, like, it was middle class. It wasn't anything crazy. But, like, I do remember in high school when, like, the girls with money, they started getting cars at 16.
Yeah.
I never got, I had to drive my mom's car, like, for forever. And it was a stick. And she made me learn it. So I took my driver's test on a stick.
Dude, there's people, the person you're taking a test with probably doesn't even know how to drive stick.
Probably not.
Yeah.
But I remember the parallel parking. I don't even remember. I think I passed. But that's, my mom grew up, her mom was a farmer. So it's kind of like, it's cool because there's this utilitarian thing about women. There's either, like I said, the debutante women or like farmers.
Yes.
So my mom, I grew up in the class of farmers because that's how my mom was raised, and that's how she, raised us.
Yeah.
So, I think that's, I'm always so, because it is so very, the majority of people from our area, for the most part, and again, not in a bad way, do tend to stay and, work within a lot of times their families or what have you. So when you think so when you when was your first, when you went into class and you saw the stand-ups, you're like, they're gonna hate me, they're gonna think I'm the young dumb girl or whatever. So like from that moment on, when you did class, like when did it start to become like an actual thing? You're like, oh, I'm good at this.
For for years, it was just I don't even know, I forgot to say this. I like had this moment. My mom was sick. No, my mom passed. I was 22 years old.
Yeah.
So I kind of felt like I'd always fallen this path, right? That I was always like, oh, all right, I guess I'll do this and hang out with these people, whatever. And I was 22 and I was in Atlanta. My mom passed away. All of a sudden, she, like a year after getting diagnosed with lung cancer. I was 22 years old. It was like, what just happened? And I think 6 months later, I took that stand-up class, and I just kind of became addicted to it. And so I like went to an open mic, and I was so bad. It was so freaking bad.
Remember your jokes? One of them. They're usually the worst ones. Usually memorable. I understand.
Yeah, what was mine about? There was something about Prince. I had some like pun. I had some Prince pun about doves crying.
Sure thing.
And oh man, what was the other one? Oh, I said, dude, this was so bad, and I probably did it for like a year or two. I said, we when we were teaching kids about naughty things, we try and we double the word to make it kind of silly so it doesn't seem so bad. You know, like I said something like, you know, we're like poo poo, pee pee, your credit card, debt. Ah, that was my joke. And
you crushed.
It's so dumb. And I probably did it for a year. I was like, this is my closer. Credit card, debt.
And big.
Right. So dumb. Yeah,
so you bombed for a little while.
I bombed for so long, but I just was like, this is so much more fun than what I was doing. I don't know. I just was obsessed with the world, and like, I would love to just go and watch other comics and be like, dude, you are so fun. I never ever saw myself where I am today, and I never thought I'd become a professional at it. I was just like enthralled with the world and like people that weren't like anybody I'd ever hung out with.
Yeah.
And I just literally just was so I just went out. I probably just started doing open mics every single night and like going to the late night bars, and then slowly you start getting like unbooked shows in Atlanta, and it just was like a snowball.
Yeah.
And I think I started, my bits I finally started working is when I started to talk about my mom, and about my first bit was about how I had such difficulty dressing her for the casket because she had all these nice clothes that she never let me wear.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I'm not going to get rid of one of them now.
Yeah.
And so I like couldn't, I was like, I had a hard time like deciding which clothes to part with because, you know, if it was a cute one, I wanted to keep it.
Yeah.
It was very dark.
But is that like, that's what I mean though, is it, because how long, being a stand-up myself, and also having a mom who passed from cancer very fast, quickly, but, you know, I think it takes a lot of comics, in my experience, a long time to get to the real stuff, where it's dark. It is fucking dark.
Yeah.
Like, it's, I mean, but that's the thing, like, but that's what people, again, in my experience, that they connect to.
Yeah.
And so how long did it take you to get from doing Prince jokes and credit card debt jokes to doing, like, you know, stuff with your mom?
Probably about a year in. Yeah. It was, I remember the open mic. I remember going to it, and it, like, oh my God, it was such a surreal moment. I remember I'm standing there. It was an open mic, but it was in this dark basement. I was like a year in. I'm sure all these comics were like, there's this girl just hanging around doing open mics. She'll probably drop eventually. And I'm like, you have no idea how much I am obsessed with you guys. And I know none of you guys think I'm cool at all. But, and it was real dark. And I remember it was just like, it was like a bright light on me like that. And I couldn't really see anybody in there. And I was like, I think I wrote this thing about like dressing my mom for the casket. And I said something, and it was like, I don't cry a lot, but I had this like very emotional moment right before I said like the actual punchline. And I don't know if I have such stage fright. Like my first 2 years was just learning how to just be on stage in front of people because I was never a performer before that. And so I remember like, very emotional. Like it was just like a moment inside my brain. Like, is this nerves or am I talking about my mom in front of people all of a sudden? And then I said the punchline, and it was like the first like big laugh I got in an open mic, and I was like, oh shit,
Yeah.
that's it. And then I remember like working on that bit, and it like kept building and building and building, and it I think that was the first thing that clicked for me. Yeah.
That's so cool. That's a
Yeah.
good story. I mean, I guess, so from then on, was that like the click for you that you're like, oh, well, this is it. This is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. This is, I'm going to keep, no matter what I have to do. And did you ever have to work 17 jobs before that?
I nannied for 8 years for one family. I mean, I was in my 30s nannying and watching my friends like excel in their careers, and I'm like, you remember when you started babysitting at 12? Still doing it. Just with the idea, because the family was so flexible that, you know, if I was like, I gotta leave on Friday for a show, they'd be like, okay, we'll figure it out, go. And but I mean, at one point I would be at the house for 10 hours a day with 3 kids, like dog ass exhausted, and then we'd go to open mics at night. And but I was like, this is, I don't know, I just was like, I had no other, there was no other career I was interested in. So I was like, nannying is the answer during the day, and then I get to do comedy at night. And I still am very surprised that stuff took off like it did. It doesn't feel real. But I just like, it was my own, it wasn't like I was, in my head, I was just like, this is the only thing that is fun. I can't imagine anything else. And I just kind of got obsessed with it.
Do you still have stage fright, by the way?
Yeah.
Yep.
Why?
No, because I do.
I watch my Found Set, and I'm like, good God.
You did okay, so before you go there, so from this young girl, I'm going to call you a girl if you don't mind, that time
just
you were
call me young.
You can call me ma'am. So, because it feels good. So from Atlanta, that was in Atlanta, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so from Atlanta, doing open mics, finally getting your big laugh, to cut to, you're on Jimmy Fallon in Los Angeles, California. And that was like a year ago?
Yeah, August 3rd.
Yeah. Okay, so how did that happen? Like, what is happening?
It was so weird. Okay, so previously in that year, it happened so fast. Previously in that year, I started putting some clips online, and I got a text from the guy that runs Don't Tell Comedies, or a DM, and he was like, hey, we're like filming some sets, starting to film some sets. Do you want to do a set? And it was out in LA, and I was like, sure. The ticket was astronomical to get out there, and I was like, I don't know if this means anything, but I'll do it. So I paid the ticket.
But how did the guys from Don't Tell find you?
I don't know. I put some clips online.
Is it online?
I have no idea.
Really? You never asked them? Like,
I think he saw a clip I put online, like Silly Billy clip. Nothing.
That's amazing. And he contacted you through that?
Yeah, he DM'd me on Instagram.
See, those are the upsides of social media.
I know. But I think this is before the Don't Tell clips were getting traction, but it wasn't what it was now. And so I did my set. I accidentally went into a bit that I didn't want to do in the set. I said something about Kroger, and it didn't get a reaction. And I was like, oh, I'm from the South. Yeah. Y'all don't have Kroger. And then I was like, I'm from the South. My parents are cousins. And I was like, that bit I did was one of the first bits I ever wrote, and I thought it was so hacky. But I was like, I just found myself like doing the bit during that recording, and I was like, hurry up, get it over with, move on, because I was not planning on doing it. So long story. That was recorded, right? So they put some of my clips out. They put that clip out. My parents are cousins. Okay. They put it out on a Friday at 3 p.m. And I was like so embarrassed. I was like, other comics are going to see this and be like, she's hack. She's doing, which it is true. My parents distantly related, but she's hack. Like, oh, she's from the South. She knew my parents are cousins. I was like, it's a Friday. No one's going to see it. It's fine. I hope it just blows away. It just, nobody notices it. Poof, it like blew up. And so I had like a couple different clips blow up from that set. And then immediately, like, started getting reached out to by managers. and agents. Was told I was in the running for JFL, and then the second I found out I didn't get JFL. I called the managers that I wanted to go with. This is like I say all this because I'm like, sometimes rejection is the best thing.
Yeah.
So I didn't get JFL. I was like, that's okay. So I called my manager, or the people I wanted to. I was like, let's go for it. Maybe 2 weeks later, the people I signed with, he was at Fallon for another. Pete Lee was there. He was there with Pete Lee. He's talking to the booker of Fallon. Mm-hmm. And I told him one of my goals was, I was like, I'd love to do late night in a couple of years. As he's talking to him, the booker gets a call that the night that one of his other clients is on Fallon on the couch, the performing act, the band just dropped out. Somebody had COVID. So there's an opening spot. So they were calling, being like, could you book a stand-up there? And so my manager was like, I just signed with this girl. Could you consider her? He had no idea who I was. And all that to say, had I gotten JFL, I wouldn't have like signed with management or anything. And so he like called me and he's like, can you send in a set? And then like 4 days later, it was booked. Fallon was booked. I mean, it was like, and then I was there 7 days after that. Yeah. In New York, filming it, taping. It happened like, I mean, it was like,
I know. So how long is the set for Fallon?
5 minutes.
5 minutes?
Mine was 6.5. But, you know.
Did you have, but that's it. Did you have your, I mean, you had it? Like, that was it? People work forever. I mean, just to get that.
So he called me on Thursday. He's like, can you get a set together? I was featuring in Chattanooga that weekend. I was like, yeah, let me tape something. That Saturday in Chattanooga, I did a set Friday. I was like, I'm not sure if that's it. I thought this was going to be like a months long thing. Mm-hmm. Saturday, he calls me. He's like, can you just type up the transcript and send it to him? And I was like, oh, is this happening now? So I typed him up 2 different 5-minute transcripts. He emailed me back that night as I'm about to go on stage in Chattanooga. And he's like, I like this bit, can't do this bit, can't do this bit because of this. I like this, gotta cut this. Tape these 3 bits, send it to me, let me know. As I'm walking on stage, I'm like, okay. Like, do the set. I'm featuring for like a decent crowd, but nothing. It was like fine, you know. And I send it to him. And Sunday, he's like, fix this. I run. I like find somebody else, a show I can get on Sunday in Atlanta. Mm-hmm. I tape it, and he sent it into the lawyers Monday. I'm nannying, and he's like, they red flagged this. Can you change this ending? I'm changing the ending as I'm nannying. Like, I don't even know if it's funny. I'm just like, and I send it in, and they're like, approved. Your book. So that was Monday, and I was taping the following Wednesday. Not that Wednesday, but the next Wednesday, next week.
Were you shitting yourself before you went on stage?
I was like,
because it's your first TV appearance, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I was, and it was like, it was truly like, I was just laughing. Like, I think I tricked everyone. I shouldn't be here right now. I was like, what just happened? Yeah, I think I know I get so much stage fright. I was just like, ground yourself. Don't let yourself. I was like, don't psych yourself out. Yeah. Don't sit here and be like, there's cameras and there's lights. I was just like, you're doing a set. And like, just try to keep myself as centered as I possibly could. But I look nutso out there. But it's also like, I don't know at least for me, it was like, he was like, okay, look up, pause here, do this. So it's not, you're trying to follow within their format. So it's not like it's like it's your style, but within their
things. Did you have people, when you were doing your set on The Late Show, did you see people being like, look here, camera 1, camera 2, camera 1? Were they doing that, or just like,
they told me just to look up into the audience.
Got you.
So I'm like, yeah. And he was like, keep coming back to center. And so I just look like I'm dancing, because I'd take a step and be like, back to center, take a step, back to center. I don't know. It was the most so wild. I'd never done the Cellar either. I got to practice my set at the Cellar the night before.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
In New York.
Yeah.
Okay, and they just were like, hey, you're gonna be on late night. You want to come do a set at the Cellar? Girl.
It was wild.
So what in the hell's happened ever since then? And we'll do our drawings. I mean, good God. From a year from being on the Tonight Show, you have a manager, probably an agent, I would imagine.
Yeah.
You've just moved to Los Angeles.
Yeah.
You said 3 months ago?
Yes.
From Atlanta?
Yes.
So what are we doing? I know you're touring.
Touring.
I know you're touring.
We are recording another hour in Louisville in December.
I know, at the Louisville's Comedy
Yes. Have you done that club?
I have not.
Love it.
But so many people, I've heard nothing but amazing things.
Yeah.
And I know you had to be in Louisville when there was the Comedy Caravan, which before was the Laughing Derby.
Were you going up there a ton?
Yes! Oh my God, I headlined there. Like,
Did
for
you
my
really?
whole family. Yes.
How was it?
It was amazing. But it's a shithole club. It smells like thoroughbred piss. Like, and
no, it does.
It just does. Like, but that, I love that so much. And like, in the crowd, this is the thing about Louisville. I will always say they have amazing crowds.
Yeah.
They do.
Oh, yeah.
The best.
They're so fun. I'm like nervous because I'm going to want to, like when I was up there, it was like, there's my high school cross country coach and there's my 6th grade teacher. It's so fun. I know. It's so fun.
You did a show there not that long ago.
Yeah. Yeah, because you guys were in Lexington, right?
We were at,
I'll be
with Jessica at
Comedy Off Broadway.
Comedy Off
I'll be there in
Broadway.
2 weeks.
Such a great club.
I love that club too.
Again, the crowds.
Yeah, they're down. They're down.
So down.
They're down for Silly Billy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Truly. I don't know if you get scared of you have an idea of how crowds are going to be in that particular region of the world, but like they're amazing. They're
so fun.
Very fun.
Down to earth people.
So you're filming your special there in front of your whole family.
Yep.
Your high school teacher.
Everybody that's ever known me since I was in diapers, and I just this year learned how to write on the road and how to tour, and I'm learning how to sell tickets, and I feel like the luckiest person in the whole wide world. Truly, I do.
How's it been trying to sell tickets? Because I have other friends, obviously, who tour, who have to sell the pressure to sell tickets as a headliner. That sometimes the bookers are like, we're not selling enough tickets. You're like, well, God fucking fuck.
You go,
sorry.
oh, we're not selling enough tickets in Boise, Idaho on a Tuesday?
On a Tuesday.
In a state I've never been to? No way. No. In the middle of a blizzard, we haven't sold a lot of tickets. I used to freak out about it, and then I had to chill out and be like, try your hardest. Learn as you grow. I mean, I'm like, putting content on, growing your audience, putting ads up, making a post about the show and everything else. And then at the end of the day, if it doesn't sell well, you tried your best and you can't beat yourself up about. Sometimes it's just a process.
Yeah.
Not everybody was selling out from the get-go.
Rarely does anybody sell. But I would imagine, because you were just on Bert Kreischer's, I would imagine that you've gained a pretty good amount of following that would, if you're in their town, they would come see you, that's the goal, right? Like you just keep gaining.
I think so. Yeah, but it's wild. It's okay. I don't know. I just got into it, but I feel like the game has changed because of social media, and because I remember like I was in Atlanta for 8 years, and I was always working the Punchline. Did you ever do the Punchline in Atlanta? And like hosting and featuring for comics who have been on the road for a decade, and whatever, it's an early Saturday or a Sunday, and the show and the it's a light audience, and but they've been doing this for years, and they would just show up and they'd post on their social media or whatever, like, I'm coming to Atlanta, but that was about it. And it was just about kind of more the club bringing them in. But I think the expectation has changed because there are people with social media I have everything to thank for it, but it's also like the pressure is higher because people have gained such a following so quickly who are just now starting to tour and already selling out that they're looking at everybody, which business is business, but they're looking at everybody like, well, sure, you've been doing this for a minute, but this person could sell out. So why aren't you doing the same kind of thing? Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so I don't know. I feel like there's more pressure now than ever to compete with people with a big following who are easily selling out everywhere. It's a lot of pressure.
No shit. No, I know. I trust me. I mean, I definitely have comedian friends that have, based on social media, have 200,000+ followers.
Yeah.
And, you know, I talk to them and they're in a city and they're the pressure as a headliner to sell out.
Yeah.
To sell out, you know, because there's a bonus if you sell out. You know, it's a business. And
Yes.
so, but there's also, like you said, you know, I've also heard that a ton, that there's like, you know, TikTok stars who are, you know, social media personalities that don't do stand-up, but they're now doing stand-up or making appearances. And they, you know, it's just, whatever. I mean, it's all good. It just means that everybody has to like level up in some way. Like,
But I'm like, but I had to just tell myself, like, you can't, I was just like, do your best. And then if like, they're not all going to be, you're not going to knock them all out of the park.
Yeah.
And I just go, let it roll. It'll be okay. Because I used to be really upset about it.
Yeah.
But I'm like, no, just, you'll grow. You'll build.
Have you had any like super bad, God, fuck, like bombing as the headliner?
No, I mean, there's just like, you know, you've been to Buffalo, New York.
Say no more.
We're 22 people who are just in there for shelter.
They're like, did we get free peanuts? You're like, no, motherfucker.
They're like,
would you buy 2 drinks?
Yeah, we're like,
There's like, a popcorn free?
No, we're just in here hiding from our wives. Why is this lady still talking? We just want to drink and
You
cry.
do a lot of crowd work, though, that I've seen, like, on your videos. Yeah. You do a lot of crowd work. And then, okay, so we're going to do our drawing.
Okay. Do I get to pick any color?
Yeah. Of course you do. Any color you want. And so, and while we draw, so then I'm going to ask, which I ask all of my guests because the name of the podcast is Not Cool. And so, what would you say, Katherine, is the most not cool thing about you? I'm going to draw you while you talk.
Not cool thing about me is that I am trying to not eat pigs or cows. I really feel like they have a soul, but I don't give a shit about birds.
So you eat chicken?
Or fish.
Okay.
Specifically chickens and turkeys. I think they don't have as much of a soul.
Okay.
So I'm fine with eating them. So people like to argue with me about the cows and the pigs.
Okay.
And I'm like, they just feel like larger dogs.
Yeah.
And then, but it doesn't make sense why I'm like, but turkeys and chickens are pretty dumb. And so I feel okay.
Okay.
Devouring them.
When did you make this decision? I feel like you follow, like, they're on your Discovery page.
Yeah.
Like every...
Yeah, I watched one too many cows playing with a beach ball.
Mm-hmm. That's how it happens.
And so I've seen a few videos of, like, chickens cuddling with a dog, and I'm like, oh, you're getting me. But then I get hungry. Yeah. And I forget about those videos.
Chicken nuggets are delicious.
Yes, yeah. But I don't know. Even when you see a fish like kind of floundering outside the water, I don't feel as bad as I feel
the connect.
Yeah, as when you see somebody cuddling with a cow. So it's kind of controversial, my view. I'm a little wishy-washy on both sides. Do I get to draw you now?
So I'm like, you could still kill a good fish fry. Yeah, I did it. This looks nothing like you, so please don't be offended.
I love that.
Did you even...
That's exactly how many chins I see.
Okay. Your head also looks like a potato, and in real life, it doesn't look like a potato.
And those are my sunglasses.
Yeah, and you don't have that much space between the bridge of your nose and your eyes, and they're not that far apart.
No, I love it, but I'm just wondering here...
Because you know what that is?
Is that my
That's
laugh
your upper
line?
cheekbone, yeah. You have a nice, what's that thing called? When you have a nice, what is that thing
blush.
called? Not blush, but it's a bone, a cheekbone. You have a nice high cheekbone.
Oh, a Kim Kardashian?
Yeah, you're Kim Kardashian.
Oh, thank you so much. I do like my Kim Kardashian.
You're like Kentucky Kardashian.
Yeah. No, thank you.
You're welcome.
I am going to go call a plastic surgeon after this.
They're gonna have a lot of filler to fill in all of to make your head oval in the shape of a upside down pear.
I'm gonna order just new eyeballs. Oops, I wasn't supposed to look.
No, it's okay. There's honestly to God, no, please. So while you're doing that, I like that not cool thing about you. That's fine, and I think a lot of people are on that journey because now Instagram has put I'll never eat a panda. I'll tell you that. I will not.
Well,
or a polar bear.
Well, who is?
Cute. They're cute.
I know, but who is?
Who, eating panda bears?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a big world, and there's a lot of underground black market shit that is happening out there that I don't even know about. That's the amazing thing. The craziest shit you can think about. Like, I used to think, like...
Does anybody peek?
Yeah, a lot of people. I had mostly guys stare the whole time at the thing. They refuse to follow a direction or listen, which is totally okay. I don't mean that to be a man-hating thing. It's just, I think, science.
Yeah.
Is that rude? Okay.
I don't want to touch this anymore.
Can I see it?
It's actually really good. I'm really proud of the lips.
Let's check.
No, I'm really, really proud of it.
Oh, why?
Wait, it's actually really good.
Why?
Oh, I love that.
I love it too.
I've never seen a more accurate depiction of you.
I love it too.
Should we post
that hair is...
No, because it's I love your hair. It's what I actually was going for in high school.
I'll tell you what, yeah.
It's going... And then what I used to do in high school, I showed up to open house one day, which is where you would try and recruit girls to come.
Oh my God, you actually worked that? You're such an overachiever.
What did I do? I braided it, and then I put the straightener to the braid.
Yeah.
And then took the rubber bands out, and then hairsprayed it. I think I was going for that look.
A crimp.
But
Crimpy?
Yeah, but it was white girl dreads.
Oh no.
And they were like, Katherine, you're hurting our numbers if you work open house tonight.
I had a boss say that to me.
You're hurting our numbers?
She said, Sarah, I need you to go in the back. It was at Sweet Lady Jane Bakery, and it was Jane. And she said, Sarah, I need you to go in the back. I need you to take a hairbrush. I need you to brush your hair. Because your hair is making it look like I don't care about my business. What are we doing? What are we doing? And I thought it looked great. I was like, this is fucking bomb, bitch. I was like, this is beach hair. I am telling you, I've had people concerned about my... Yeah.
What? Your hair's the coolest.
No, it's fine now. But but I'm trying to at least, brush it and stuff and make it act like I put a style to it. But like, I've had so many jobs where I should have opted for a hairnet. Do you know what I mean? Just to avoid all of the conversation. She told me it made her look like she didn't care about her business.
No, you're trying to appeal to all customers.
That's what I said. Be all inclusive. Even the homeless people want to eat
that's what I'm saying. We'll take anyone's money, even if it's all your money.
So small, so small. I'll never. Sarah. I was like, oh God.
Did it look like that?
What, my hair?
Yeah.
No, we've gotten better on smoothing it down, but it's still. But I used to wear it up, and it was like half in, half out, like a private high school.
Right, half up, half down.
Yeah, but not. Probably didn't look well. Do you know? I was much younger. I didn't really care much. And so professionalism at a minimum wage job, because I was always like minimum work for minimum wage.
Right, yeah. Well,
like the minimal amount of effort. You're lucky I even showed up sober.
Right.
Is what I used to
say.
Right.
You don't care about your business.
You don't. If you did, you'd be fucking helping me.
Yeah.
And giving me more money. So
exactly.
Yeah.
This is the look now, and I'm jealous. I really dig. It's here's your style.
There she goes. All right. Lay it down.
No, this is...
I love when you're going to say something big. You take a real deep breath, and then you give a stare.
Somehow...
There she goes.
Somehow, your style is how if you gave a a young kindergarten girl free reins to dress somebody, and you pull it off flawlessly.
Thank you, Katherine.
I mean that in the highest compliment.
I'm going to take that as, why would I take that as an insult? I'm still trying to get back to kindergarten base rules.
Yeah. This is like when I was in kindergarten, I was imagining what I looked like when I grew up. Mm-hmm. That.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, muchas gracias, amigos. Thank you so much. I remember whenever I had to give myself a name in kindergarten when we played house, my name was always Emily Hart.
That sounds like a girl who got kidnapped.
I know. I just thought I thought my husband, Rich, was going to love it. Do you understand?
No, I know.
You get it?
Yeah.
Like, what's your name going to be? My name's going to be, you have to sign it.
Oh.
All right, Katherine, so listen.
Wait, what were you saying while I was drawing?
Oh, I've already forgotten that moment. Well, what do you want to... Okay, so you're going to be in Louisville. If you're in Louisville, which is our hometown, go see Katherine. What are the dates?
December 21st, 22nd, and 23rd. What do you have? Christmas presents to wrap? Get over it.
I might be there.
Yes,
for
come
Christmas.
get on stage.
Yeah.
Please.
I'll be there.
Please.
I'll be there for my family.
Please come.
What we do.
We'll bring Kelsey and Tanner, your cousins.
Those are my cousins, yeah.
Yeah. And also Lexington, August 10th, 11th, and 12th.
Jack Harlow's going to be there. Jennifer Lawrence is going to be there. Muhammad Ali is going to be there.
I have a bit I'm working on about Jennifer Lawrence.
Tom Cruise. Oh, I love Jennifer Lawrence, by the way. I know because I listened to your podcast on the break, but you have a story about Jennifer Lawrence.
But I'm not knocking her. It's nothing.
No one's knocking. Her family lives in Indian. Oh, I shouldn't say that. Anyway, her family. And I have a friend who made my website way back in the day, who made a website for Jennifer before she was fucking famous.
What would she need a freaking website?
Because she was going to be an actress.
Oh, right.
And she was a model and whatnot. Yeah. So anyway, so they're all going to be there. Colonel Sanders is going to be there. Every thoroughbred that is in the Kentucky Derby. Some of them won't be there because that was dark. I was going to go dark, and I'm sorry.
It was a hard day. I was hating it too.
Sorry. Okay, but before we end, Katherine's going to be a big star. I have intuition. I've called every big star that I've ever met. Swear to God, you are. I've called every one of them.
Thank you.
So because you talk about this it's probably been a 2-hour podcast, but I could really talk to her for forever. Because you pride yourself on being somewhat of like a horse girl.
Yes.
Okay.
I can't get over how good this is.
It is good. I feel like, okay, you can't have it, actually. I'm going to put it on a T-shirt and bring it to your show in December.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't know if you'll be able to tell who's
Kind of looks like, what's his name, Freelander?
Jonah Freelander?
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. I was wondering who that was. It is. I'm going to take that to an esthetician and be like, get my lips even bigger like that. Please?
I really like it.
I want you to fill it with jelly, grape jelly. And then the top almond butter because I want to make a mean sandwich if I'm out in the wild.
I'm full.
How amazing if they just little pocket holders for like fucking at least make it useful and put toothpaste in there when you're out in the jungle.
That would be nice.
Mm-hmm.
Or just put chapstick in there.
That's what I'm talking about. Or like put a pouch for like coins, like your little Okay, anywho, so
put money in your mouth.
Do you, because it's clean.
Yeah.
Do you have a funny or a story about Derby or Oaks Day? Or because if you grew up in Louisville, you have to have some sort of weird story about Derby or Oaks Day.
Yeah.
And drinking.
Yeah. Did I tell this one? I'm working on a bit with this too, but.
And then we'll go, I promise.
Did you porta potty race?
Porta potty race?
Yeah.
No, but I did get in a fist fight. In the infield.
Okay.
Everybody knows the infield, yeah.
Yeah. Did you ever see porta potty racing?
No.
Okay. No?
Can I preface this real quick?
Yeah.
But when we say infield, what we mean is there's a grandstands and then there's the infield. If you don't have money, you're in the infield.
Yeah, $35.
If you have money, you're in the fucking grandstands. And usually if you're in the infield, when there's a horse race, you don't ever see a horse.
Never see a horse.
Never see a horse.
You forget about horse racing.
Yeah, you don't even know why you're there.
There's people in the infield or in the grandstands for horse racing, and then the people in the infield are there for a Kid Rock concert.
Yep.
110%.
That's why I got in a fight.
Yeah. Yes. Did I get in a fight with a lady?
Did you get in a fist fight?
No, I didn't get in a fist fight. I remember my parents wouldn't let me go till I was sophomore in high school, which I was like, guys, I'm so old. You let me go. And I remember I walked into also it's the first Saturday in May. It's always spring. It's almost always raining. And so I walk in and I look over and I see my friends are pulling out their flip phones in the circle, a bunch of dudes in circles in suits. And I'm like, why are they all have their phones on? And I look in the middle, there's a mud pit. And there are women with the fanciest sundresses ripping them off and diving in the mud pit for men throwing 10, 20s, so $100 bills into the infield. These women have flown here from Idaho to go to a fancy horse race, and they have one too many mint juleps, and they're ripping off their Kohl's dresses and diving into a mud pit for $50 bills. This is what I was like, this is why my parents will let me come in here. Yeah. So I every year blackout, right?
Yeah, every year.
My mom would teach me. She was a nurse, so you'd get the IV bags and you'd put the IV bag full of vodka in your bra.
We would use Ziploc bags,
and you put them in your bra.
Yeah, you get the little you put them under there. We knew how to take off the gallon tops of fruit juice, and then reseal the bitch.
Yeah, like a little vodka cutlet, and then so I would watch people do this. Porta potty racing, which is where you would, my joke is I'm like, you ask a nice man to help you up to the very top of one, and he does because you have a sundress on. And then, so it was a line of porta potties, right? And then people would try and run across the top of them. Meanwhile, this is like how dumb and drunk everyone is. People are like, let's try and see if we can knock them off. Like it's a carnival game. Yeah. And so people are throwing like full-fledged beers at your head, and you're like, look at me. I mean, you could die in any moment. Mm-hmm. And but if you made it to the end, then you won. Do you know Allie Beston? Do you remember the Bestons?
No.
Just YouTube porta potty racing. You'll see this all over. And but there's also like people are dressed up in the infield at the Kentucky Derby with like cut off shorts.
Yeah.
And like tank tops on. Like they're not dressed fancy.
What I wore. Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
So I remember my freshman year coming back from South Carolina, and I bring my roommate for Derby, fancy Derby. I'm like, it's a Kentucky tradition. You got a porta potty race. So we get up to the top. I run across. So you're at the top. I can see the cops like snaking through the crowd so I'm like, I gotta get down. She gets to the end. I forgot to tell her that it's illegal. Yeah. And so she's like celebrating. And so as she's like gets down, the cops are there. And I remember like trying to arrest her, and she's like, I'm a teen mom. It's my first night out. She's not. I was like, genius. And
teen mom, nice.
Yeah, it was like her first time out of the state, and I just got her arrested, and she went to the drunk tank. I know.
Nice.
I know. I picked her up from jail that night, and so then the next year, I remember I went, and they like straight up had you know how like if you see a Walgreens sign or a Dwayne Riyadh or whatever it's called out here, you know they put spikes in the letters to keep the birds from nesting. They have spikes on top of the porta potties because we are so fucking dumb. They have to treat us like
human pigeons off.
They have to treat the dumb humans off the top of the porta potties. And now that it's no more. It's so sad. It was a tradition.
Does the infield still happening?
Hell yes.
Oh, if you haven't been to Churchill Downs, are there Oaks? I would suggest going on Oaks Day. It's less insane, but I would 100% tell anybody to do the infield.
Yeah, I would. It was 3 days now. There's Derby, Oaks Derby. I would do one fancy day and then one infield day.
Yeah, if you can afford to do a I've never been to the actual Derby.
Can you
believe that shit? Yeah.
Why? Why would you?
I don't, but I'm just like, it was one of those things I always said, every infield, like every fist fight, I was like, one day I'm going to make $1 million and I'm going to sit in the grandstands and I'm not coming back to this bitch until I do. And I have a fucking hat. I'm getting a goddamn hat. And it's going
to... some spikes coming out of my hat.
Goddamn fucking birds coming out of my hat. And it's going to have bird food and fucking a place for them to sit. And a fucking eagle on top. I am fucking going.
I'm going to be Mother Eagle.
I am not kidding. I have my cousin Kinsey.
Yes.
She makes the hats. She makes the derby hats.
Why don't
the
you
fasteners.
Just have one?
Well, that's new.
Okay.
But when I was saying it, I was thinking like, fucking how they used to big round and like clocking people if you like turn your
you know? And you're like, well, it's almost like you have a museum on top of your head. You're like, Why did you get into a fist fight?
Because we were drinking.
Yeah.
You were in high school, Catherine.
Yeah.
It was really, we were drinking. We did all the same shit. We, snuck in alcohol. We all got, and we were drunk before we got there.
It's the drunkest. The sun is beating on you.
Oh, it's so
also
fucking
raining.
hot.
You're just drinking. It's lawless.
Yeah, it's a heart implosion waiting to happen and fucking just severe burns, 4th-degree burns. No, I got in a fight and then we ended on this. I swear, I've said that. It's a famous last word I say. It was, in a nutshell, we were really drunk. We drank before we got there. There was a girl in high school, I'll say her name, Kristen Slepikas. God damn it, Kristen. And she always hated me, and I don't know why. But we, and Kyle Bacco, who was the other, class turkey, Kyle was really little. And Kyle, if you're listening, I still love you. So we were at the Derby, and I was with this guy named Kevin. And I guess Kevin didn't like me either for some reason because I broke up with him 3 years before. And
it's hard to move on.
It's hard to, come on. And so we were sitting there, and all of a sudden I heard, fucking bitch. Yeah, you're a fucking bitch. And I was like... And I'm not a fighter. I was like, yeah. She can't be talking about me, and then I turned my head and she's like, yeah, you fucking bitch. That. And Kyle, Kyle was mouthy because she was little.
Yeah.
And so she's like, yo, Hyland, she's calling you a fucking bitch.
Dude.
She's calling you a bitch, So the little one's always like, yo, what you gonna do? Hyland, hi, and of course I'm like, oh shit.
You're like mom spaghetti.
Yeah. I'm like, why are you calling me a bitch? So I turned around, I was like, you talking to me? And she's like, yeah, you fuck. And she just kept going at it. I was like, oh shit, well let's go, and just drunk, sloppy fighting. So I'm air fucking
limp wrist,
like in a dream when you can't hit.
You're like,
and then Kyle's like, yeah, Hyland, yeah, get it, running in between us, because she's this big.
Yeah.
She's like, yeah, fucking get it, Hyland. And then all of a sudden, my friend Maria Bowling gets behind Kristen, and she gets up on a cooler,
spider monkey that bitch,
with a fucking long neck beer, fucking hits her. Of course, everybody's drunk, so it didn't smash. It slid off her head. Everybody's weak, fucking whiskey wristed,
Yeah.
And so she hits her, and then Kristen comes after my shirt, and she rips my fucking shirt off. I'll never forget it. It was red. And so, and she pulled my ponytail, and so finally, I don't remember how it broke. It was messy. It wasn't a clean wow, and she's TKO'd.
It's like her against 4 of you.
Yeah, because it was Kyle, Maria, me, and I'm sure there was...
Also just the whitest Catholic schoolgirl names.
Oh, Sarah, the deal.
Maria against Amanda. Versus Amanda.
I'll never forget it. And I was so shit-faced. I was stumbling around the infield, and I remember people would come up to be like, oh, damn, girl, you from Portland? Are you from Portland?
Why Portland?
Shit. Portland, Kentucky.
Oh.
Because it's right by Louisville. It's in Louisville. Portland is a neighborhood. Girl, Portland is a neighborhood in Louisville that is not good. It's not good, especially back in that time. It was not good. It was. You don't want to go to Portland.
I never even heard of it.
Yeah, so I was like, white trash Portland.
Stayed in St. Matthews.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, that tracks.
Yeah.
Right. So that's. St. Matthews.
I like that. That's a diss that no one knows about. Oh,
these are all inside.
Oh, a St. Matthews diss. Regional.
Like my dad lives in St. Matthews. Let's calm down. I get it. Don't worry. It's right by the malls. It's okay. So that was really it. And that fight between Kristen and I carried on for, because I kept seeing her at house parties. Like after volleyball fucking state championship, we'd go and get shit-faced. And there's Kristen Slepikas staring me down. I was like, this bitch is going to kill me.
But it gave you life though.
It did.
It gave you, this is weird, but the fights and the dramas in high school was your life purpose at that time. It really gave you a purpose to be alive.
I know.
Yeah, I know.
All of it.
It was kind of fun.
Kind of. It was great.
It was fun.
Remember people getting alcohol poisoning back at football games. They were being taken out on stretchers. I was like, oh, damn, Amber did too much.
It was like your Real Housewives episode. You're like, damn.
It was drama as fuck.
Yeah,
it was good.
So fun.
I don't know. I swear everybody in my friend group either had a severe blackout because they took too many antidepressants and ice house beer, or they alcohol poisoning. It's so I just can't. I don't want to go back to high school, but God, I miss the drama. Like, I wanted them to do a reality show. Speaking of, like, we're in LA. I want them to go do a reality show of, like, pick Louisville. That's fine.
It was like
Of high schoolers.
so much drama for nothing, which is the best part about it.
For nothing.
People getting pissed off at people for making out. You freaking made out with my boyfriend. I'm like, dude, I make out with my dad.
Kentucky, am I right?
Yeah.
Hey, listen, I have a few incest jokes myself. Don't sweat it. It's, you know what? It's a crowd pleaser. Is it hacky? I don't know, but a lot of my shit's true too. So what do you want me to do? What do you want me to do?
I wasn't something like this. This is how my dad's brothers are his cousins. Because I had a grandpa that had married, had 3 kids. Wife died, baby died, so he married her little sister. They were 19 years apart. So, and then they had 8 more kids. So, like, they love to tell the story. But, like, that is just immediate family where, like, it would be like your dad marrying, like, your mom's little sister.
Okay.
And, like, and that was, like, nobody even blinked an eye at it because it was so normal back then. And like, I don't know. It just was small town. Everybody was a little bit related, and there was no one else around. So it's not hacky if it's.
You don't have to sell me, Catherine.
Can I put blonde highlights in
You
there?
can do whatever you want, my love. You don't have to sell me. Listen. If it's true, it's gonna be hard for people to stomach. I found with my own incest jokes, people are a little concerned, but we get past it. Because it's the dark truth and everybody needs to talk about it.
Thank you.
So, Catherine, where can people see you on your way to stardom and find you?
At It's Katherine Blanford on Instagram, and all the other ones are fine too. But just go to the gram. That's really what I do it for. All the other ones are just kickbacks.
You're a kickback.
Yeah, I am.
I don't know what that means.
I can do a kickback.
I can do a kick flip. I can kickstand my bike. So
I'll ride on your pegs.
Pegs, don't
Pegs
even
was-
get me
yeah.
back into I
Pegs.
don't.
Pegs
I
was
can't, or
summer.
I'll go off on a different tangent. Pegs and the things that were on your wheel that when you rode your bike,
The beads?
yeah, the beads.
Yeah, I remember
Or
that.
if you're really poor, you put a card in it.
Yeah, that's like Sandlot shit. Yeah, I remember that. And then your dad be like,
back to 92.
"Where's the 7 of hearts?" And you're like,
It's in my bike, Dad.
"Yeah,
I don't know why they talk like that.
hey, Dad, I'm in a bike gang."
Anyway, I love you, Katherine Blanford.
you.
Thank you so much for coming here. I could literally talk to you forever. If you're in Louisville in December, please go see her. I'll be there. I'm coming. I'll be there.
Please come on any show you want to.
I'll
If you
be
want to
there.
do that.
I'm actually, yeah. Anyway, it's a great new club in Louisville. They're killing it. It's downtown, I think, on Main. But if not, go see Katherine on social media. She has all of her tour dates. She's going to be a massive. She already is a star,
Thanks,
but
dog.
even more.
Appreciate
Thanks
you.
for coming.
Uh,
Go ahead.
no, just do it.
Smooth.
Just do it, y'all.
Such so gangy.
Peg game out.
Hey everybody, you want more Not Cool? Then go to Instagram and subscribe to Not Cool Pod, and or on my own personal page, which is Sarah Hyland Rosenstein.